Welcome back to... We are back, baby. I missed you. I've been off working on another project, but I'm back now, my lovely knockers, and there is a new studio incoming. Long story. But of course, it had to be while I was away that Arsenal exploded. You don't need reminding. I'll do it anyway. We are top of the Premier League by 4 points, 6 ahead of Man City, 7 ahead of a collapsing Liverpool, and we're joint top in the Champions League. It's just incredible. Weirdly, the last time I had any significant break from YouTube was the beginning of the 22-23 season when we went on that crazy run. Maybe it's me. And I'm now happy to say something on camera I have not said since February 2024. I think Arsenal will win the Premier League. This isn't a knee-jerk reaction to the last few weeks. If you're a fan of the Cannon podcast, you'll know I said it post-Newcastle at the end of September, and I've been saying it to anyone who'll listen since then. That was the moment for me, and my confidence has only grown. So, why? Well, I could give you a million different reasons, but this is a YouTube video and you're probably eating your lunch or something. So I've boiled it down to 4 chapters that I want to explore today. Double Down, Who Are We Will Be Back, and Rivals. Ooh, chapters. Fancy. So sit back, strap in, and grab a Huel. Wait, what? This video is sponsored by Huel. I'm a busy boy. I run a few businesses, I work across a few podcasts, and I'm even trying to write and produce my own theatre show. And the first thing that goes in those mad periods is my nutrition. I end up eating like a 12-year-old boy who's found his mum's credit card. And that's why I'm buzzing to have teamed up with Huel to bring you an exclusive offer. Huel is a high-protein meal in a bottle, full of goodness, and it's been a bit of a game changer for me in the last couple of years. Having a little stash in my fridge at all times means that whenever I'm on the go, I know I've got a healthy, nutritious meal packed full of protein just away. And I don't have to tell my girlfriend I forgot to eat again because I was writing about mid-blocks or something. Huelicious. Starting at $1.79 per meal or 17 full meals per bag. No brainer, mate. Oh, honestly, Huel is fantastic. See, even Gary Neville likes Huel. You didn't know that, did you? Try Huel with £10 off today using my code DIFFKNOCK10 or use the QR code on screen right now. I personally love the Black Edition powder, which is basically the same as normal Huel, just with lower carbs and higher protein. It tastes great. It has vitamin C, vitamin B12 to reduce tiredness and fatigue, and loads of other goodness, baby. It comes in so many different flavors, but my favorite flavor, genuinely, vanilla. Maybe I'm the James Milner of Huel. If you're struggling with time or just want to level up your meal times, click the link in the description and give Huel a go. Thanks so much to Huel for sponsoring the video. Back to it. We're back. Chapter 1, Double Down. How do Arsenal get over the line? The question on every pundit's lips in the last few years, and historically, the discussion has ended up down the path of newness. Last summer, I made videos on new players, new execs, new solutions to certain game states, all to answer that question, and understandably. But I think I, and many others, might have missed something. I was probably half expecting a big system shift in 25-26. We'd seen evolution every single year up to this point. 24-25 was marred by injuries, and I thought with all the new signings, this was the moment. But there hasn't been, really. If you're super into your tactics, you're looking at me right now going, actually, Zubamendi's freedom in the pivot gives... And yes, there is some newness, but it's fullbacks with freedom, it's wingers high and wide, it's a double pivot depending on where the ball is, the goalie's involved in build-up. I don't think we can call Timber inverting a touch more a revolution. Or perhaps I was expecting a new signing to be transformative. But I don't think we've become Gyökeres or Eze or even Zubamendi FC good as they've been. So I think what Arsenal have done most strikingly is inject clarity and energy into their pre-existing strengths. And I didn't see that coming. Getting better at what we're already good at, as we aim to be, as Mikel defines it, kings of everything, doesn't grab headlines. Arsenal get marginally better at the things they were already good at. Doesn't necessarily make people sit up and take notice of how we're answering the get over the line question in a way that Gyökeres scoring 30 goals in 2 games would have signalled a new era, but I think that is what's making the difference. Ihsan Khan in the Mail put together some numbers to show what Arsenal have done to double down on their already league-leading superb set-piece record. We've already scored 9 goals from set-pieces so far this season, which puts us on to comfortably break the record of 22 goals from set-pieces in the 23-24 season. But the way they're going in is slightly different. In the previous campaign, half of Arsenal's 14 corner goals came from directly scoring off the delivery, with actually 5 arriving from mid-September to early December, indicating maybe a certain level of being worked out towards the end of last year. Gabriel's injury can't have helped. But this season, of Arsenal's 9 set-piece goals so far, 6 have come from indirect moments. Second balls, quick resets, rehearsed moments designed to exploit different weaknesses. Mourinho's header against Newcastle's a good example. Zubimendi's stunner against Forest or Trossard's against Fulham comes from a flick on, and so on. We knew about our corner threat, but we're putting new strings to that bow. Free kicks are another area. We've already scored from 2, having only managed 3 in the entirety of last year. Eze's volley against Palace on Sunday started with a Rice free kick, and Zubimendi's header against Nottingham Forest began with a short Ethan Nwaneri free kick. To have nearly matched that tally before November tells us something. And just anecdotally, I feel like our free kicks are more threatening. But I wasn't calling for more threatening indirect free kicks over the summer. And most strikingly of all, I didn't think it was possible to get better defensively. But we have. In terms of a 10-match rolling average of goals allowed, Arsenal are back at their very best under Mikel. And considering this line will be taking into account a few games from the end of last season and doesn't include the clean sheet against Palace, I expect that to go down even more, with one of the sharpest drops since the beginning of 23-24. Ironically, the first moment where we probably all went, oh, well, we're quite good. When compared to other Premier League teams from 2017-18 to 24-25, Arsenal are in record-breaking in recent Premier League history territory for shot quality allowed and in very good company in terms of shots allowed per match. Arsenal are facing 8 shots and 2.11 shots on target per 90 this season, according to FBref, an improvement when compared to 9.45 shots and 3.08 on target per 90 last year, which was already league leading, by the way. And in terms of open play XG allowed, we're again in our title-winning 100-point pace bag from the end of 23-24. And I do have to stress as well that this has, on paper, been our most difficult period fixture-wise in the league. We played City, Liverpool and Newcastle away, Man United away, which is looking a better win the longer the season goes on, a brilliant Palace and Fulham away, among others. The fact that we are even in the conversation about the Chelsea 15 goals conceded record, considering Chelsea's 04-05 team, yes, had some top opposition, but also played in an era where Paul Dickoff scoring 9 goals in 35 appearances for Blackburn kept them comfortably in the league, is pretty mad. If you want to put your nostalgia glasses on and say it would be an equivalent achievement to do that in the Premier League 20 years later, be my guest. But there's a reason the top 10 seasons ever for least goals conceded contain only 2 entries from after 2009. That freak year for City and Liverpool. Arsenal have now gone 100 consecutive games without conceding 3 goals or more, and that record looks set to be broken with us only 7 games behind Man United between 2016 and 2018. Hilarious, by the way. What a rogue team to be up there. So the question is, how? Well, I don't know whether correlation equals causation here. But watching Gabriel Heinze give those raucous pre-game speeches to the defenders, I wonder if there's an athletic long read in the pipeline about the tactics he's employing to go from best to even better. Rumours already swirling about what he's doing on the training ground, so maybe the how will come. But finding those final percentages that you didn't even think were possible, that's the impressive part. It's easy to focus on the new, getting new players, finding new places, and we need to do that, and we have, and we'll come to that. But it's credit to the club for doubling down on what I didn't even think was possible. And through that intent, something else has clicked for me as well. Chapter 2. Who are we? Can I be totally honest? You don't have a choice. Up to now, the way Arsenal have played under Mikel Arteta, let's say from 23-24 onwards, hasn't been exactly how I'd want my team to play. It's maybe 85% of the way I would have set up on Football Manager. Let's put it like that. Sacrificing a bit of tempo and incision in the final third to prioritise rest defence, your wingers tracking back, never quite playing with 2 10s, all that stuff. I never really mention it because largely it's been working and who cares, right? And I've also understood it because of the squad we have. It's just not exactly the football I would want to see. But I think I've missed the point. Many of you watching, according to my analytics, grew up on Arsene Wenger. So Arsenal in the Premier League, just purely time-wise, is most associated with Wenger ball. Your picture, most everyone else's picture of what an Arsenal team should be, in inverted commas, is that free-flowing pace combinations, the moments in the final... Don't clip that up. Moments in the final third. I thought we were called Arsenal because of Arsene when I was a kid. That's how ingrained it is. So when we haven't been exactly that under Mikel, I think something subconsciously in me has gone, yeah, it's good, but it's not quite there. There's something missing. But I don't think I've accounted for, A, the league context, and B, that the defensive side is not just as important as the attacking side. it can be just as beautiful. There's a level of commitment to defending that this league requires that the moment you don't do it, you're found out. Liverpool against Brentford, perfect example. Ball breaks to Damsgaard in the midfield, Ekitike, Isak, Salah and Wirtz all behind it, and let's not even talk about the front to back distances here. They slot it through to Thiago, Szoboszlai, Wirtz and Jones all jogging. Luckily they have Virgil van Dijk who deals with it, by which time Konate and Jones are still jogging back. Cheers, guys. But ball breaks again, and those huge distances are still there. So Damsgaard gets a shot he shouldn't have, that Mamardashvili parries. Similar-ish situation. 8 Liverpool players ahead of the ball when it breaks in that location is terrifying, but again, not the time or place. We're talking about the reaction. Brentford get 5 touches. 1 cutout, 2 pass, 3 control for Damsgaard, 4 control for Damsgaard, 5 pass from Damsgaard. And my guys have barely moved a muscle. You're in that attacking a structure and you simply don't react. Ball gets slotted through and Schade scores. This situation against Frankfurt where they're early in the game, yes, they blow them away with their attacking prowess eventually, but where on earth is the commitment? Liverpool are a brilliant team and they will recover, but this is a culture thing. Mikel is screaming in our ears watching that, and he's right. Our version of Damsgaard against Palace was Mitchell's interceptions, but watch the difference. Palace defend very well in that mid-block to cover the lanes, so we had to end up playing some riskier passes around the block. Mitchell intercepts, immediately every forward starts running back, even though the ball is wide, by the way, which is literally less danger, and it's at best for Palace, a 3v2 in our favour across the back. Saka and Saliba manage the space well. It gets cut out by our 2 front 5 players, Eze and Saka. Exactly the same situation 8 minutes later, and exactly the same buy-in. Everyone runs back, Eze cuts it out, we're all back behind the ball before Palace can do anything. And this carries on all game, as we know. 90th minute, Palace win a header down to Wharton. Every single Arsenal player, including even Gyökeres, who must be knackered, responds. You can see them busting a gut to get out to their man, force them wide, and our whole team ends up in the box. Arteta's ability to get players to buy into this is really something, and it's getting us results. I'm not saying I wouldn't like a bit more flow. I'm not saying Liverpool aren't probably the slightly better attacking team. And I'm not saying I don't want us to climb the open play XG tables. Not at all. I know Mikel will want the other side of our game to develop and league and world lead in the way that our off-ball stuff does. We want to be kings of everything. But I wonder if you can Wenger ball teams to death now. I wonder if you can attack in the way Liverpool do without the defensive buy-in and get results. And then my question is, why is that not beautiful? Why is that boring? Why is it not incredible to watch a team of fully committed professionals, our players, commit so wholeheartedly to both sides of the game? Why does that not bind us to the team and make us enjoy the team in the way that someone scoring a hat-trick might? You maybe score 1 hat-trick a season. Gabriel, Rice, Saliba, Saka, all these guys, they do this every week for our club. And that makes me love this team because this is sustainable. You can miss chances, you can do whatever, but they're bought in on that side of the game. And I think I've been subconsciously holding back, probably waiting for someone to basically score that Wilshere versus Norwich goal before I go, that's Arsenal, there you go. But I don't think that's fair, because the fact is that sacrifice I said at the top of this chapter is probably necessary for consistency in the Premier League we have today. Not the one of 3 years ago, today. Where if you go to the G-Tech, you go to the Vitality, you go to the Stadium of Light, you go to Selhurst Park, you're expecting a game. I think we are playing the most suitable, consistent, sustainable football. And I think it's working. Name me a team who are playing Wenger ball basically week in, week out and not getting found out. Even Pep last season spoke about how the Premier League is now the way Bournemouth play, the way Brighton play. So I can be subconsciously waiting for Wenger ball to happen. And there are days where we play like that. But I'm missing so much of what this team is if I don't enjoy the other side and see the beauty. And this clarity and love for our identity, I see it in the players. They are so bought in. They have to be, otherwise they wouldn't commit in the way that they do. And I think it's gone up a level. Arguably the most fun is seeing how much this bothers everyone else because they haven't worked out the formula for success in this version of the Premier League, not the one in their heads where they expect 5-0 wins from title winners every week. I have to say I find a lot of the conversations within the Arsenal community about this stuff pointless. Moaning about what Jamie O'Hara thinks about us. Who cares? Do you want everyone to like you and approve of the way you play? Or do you want to win? You can't have both. What matters is who we are, the challenges we face, how we step up to them, and what we do. Ironically, we've broken our goals record twice under Mikel, but we have to be honest and say a lot of that has come without playing in that Arsenal in inverted commas style. And that's fine. If this is the way we have to win, sign me up. Arteta is a man who is obsessed with doing every last thing he can to win. And that is our identity. Not beauty at the cost of victory. Maybe it's taken me a while and even you a while to truly value that, because historically that's not been the Arsenal way. But maybe it can be, and maybe it has to be. And maybe we can love and learn to see the beauty in it as much as we love seeing us blow teams away. Arsenal's identity is a backbone. And that's developed to a title-winning standard. Chapter 3, we will be back. That all said, I still don't think we are even close to our final form. Isn't it nice that we're not even talking about injuries? At this point last season, I might have made a video saying, well, I know we're only 5 points behind, but we haven't had Jesus, we haven't had Odegaard, and we haven't had Madueke, and I'd be right. But we're not talking about that. And we're still asking for more from our forwards. I love that because that's just the new standard now with the squad that we have. But I also think there's an exciting edge. To go to that next level in the final third, we need freshness, energy, and players in game states that suit them more consistently. For example, the biggest beneficiary of Havertz's return, to me, is going to be Victor Gyökeres. I think he looks knackered and he's often in game states where I wonder if he's fully comfortable. But it's not just about the individuals or the tactics or the fitness, it's the relationships we're missing. Liam Rosenior, head coach of Strasbourg and a very good listen if you ever get the chance, said the other day, coaching and management is 90% people skills. It's 10% football. It's more about the content of the character, the connection that you have with the individuals within the group, and what you can maximise out of them. And that's at any level of football, in any industry. I love the tactical side of the game. You guys know I do. And I'd say I probably disagree with Mr. Rosenior, not that he cares, on the exact percentile there, in my humble opinion. But he is onto something. And no shade on anyone, but I'm increasingly of the opinion that the stuff we see on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, the really tactical stuff, even some of the stuff that I used to make, is good, but can occasionally miss the point. Because the really good analysis, the stuff I think they do at the top level, is deciphering what is instruction, what's in the moment, what's the emotional component, and what I want to talk about now, what is created between two or more players that can't be coached. Mikel, it seems to me, understands this. He leans into the relationships that a pair or a trio can bring, knowing that 1 + 1 can equal 3 sometimes. Sorry, mathematicians. He allows for that chemistry to grow. And when players sign, he appears to keep an open mind as to where they could go before settling. I think looking at the relationships they form with other players. He made these comments about considering Havertz for a number of different positions, and I believe him. Sign players with an idea in mind, yes, but keep an open mind, because you don't know what might form that you can't predict. Timber at left back, Rice at 6, Saka, White, countless examples of players who've had a bit of movement positionally before they found their place. When Ben White signed, if anyone says they predicted that natural chemistry he would have built up in that pod that was formed with Saka and Odegaard, you're lying. But it happened. And for 2 years or 18 months there, that pod was like basically the only way we could attack. And it's that. It's those pods, those relationships that I feel we're missing from the front five. There's so much disruption that the relationships have gone. There's 5 brilliant individuals who are doing well, but there's another level. Probably the only pod that is consistent and plays every game is Raya, Gabriel and Saliba, and we see the benefits. We know pods are spoken about in this setup. We know they talk in their pods when they come off the pitch, and I can predict what those new ones might become. Saka and Timber might be growing, Trossard and Gyökeres have had some moments, Eze and Gyökeres make sense to me with Victor Gyökeres in that sort of Mateta role as I've spoken about before. But the exciting part, I think, is what we can't predict. Who knows what Havertz and Gyökeres looks like? We haven't seen it. What about Madueke and Timber or Madueke and White? The fact that we've basically had no continuity of relationships here and are still top of the league is a really good sign. And it makes me incredibly excited to see where we might be in 3 months' time. Finding these relationships could be the key to going up a gear in that final third. And although we've shown that in flashes this season, I think we all feel there's a way to go. Chapter 4, Rivals. In recent years, I've felt we've had quite consistently a single point of failure. Saka's hamstrings ping, we fall off a cliff. Saliba falls over, season over. Of course, there are things that would massively hinder our season. Every single team has players that are ultimately irreplaceable. It's the risk you take when you have such top quality players. But I get the sense now that we have enough ways of winning that theoretically, the drop shouldn't be as drastic as it has been. And when I look at our title rivals, I do see quite significant single points of failure, and that excites me. At centre-back, for example, Liverpool have a 34-year-old who I think is on the decline, Konate on a 500-day Duolingo streak, Joe Gomez who can't put a string of games together, and an 18-year-old who's just done his ACL. They rely on them to cover massive distances and marauding fullbacks. And if any of those fall over, they go even further behind than they already are. We have Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Nkapie, White, Timber, Rice could go there. We have options. Liverpool have gone big on players who aren't clicking and shifted their forward dynamics away from the one thing they knew worked. Ironically, probably because it was a single point of failure. They are a fullback injury or two away from difficulty in my view. Man City are the definition of a single point of failure right now. They have 25 goals so far this year. 15 are Erling Haaland. 60% of their goals from one source. Rodri, another single point of failure, I think, and he seems to be struggling with his fitness. What I see at Arsenal when compared to our rivals, which gives me hope, is a more consistent, complete team that can deal with the demands of all four fronts. Even if the worst happens, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to put it out in the universe. A midfield injury, let's put it like that. Zubimendi, Miles, Marino, Odegaard, Eze, Norgard, Havertz, Waneri. We'd find our way through. And it's not just individuals. We're finding ways of winning against opposition that we struggled against historically, even with players out. As my boy Rohan pointed out, Newcastle away, West Ham at home, Fulham away, and Palace at home saw us pick up 3 out of 12 points in 23-24 and 2 out of 12 points in 24-25. This season, it's 12 from 12. In terms of points compared to last season, we're not only ahead, we're ahead having bettered our results in the specific problem games from last year. I'm not saying we're infallible. I'm not saying our opposition can't get us. I'm not saying we won't lose games. But we have ever-increasing answers and an ever-increasingly complete squad. And your opposition define your season. End of 23-24, 16-1, 1 drawn, 1 loss. Doesn't matter. City are on an even better run. They define things. And it's nice to feel those weaknesses. We are limited by time and my editor's patience. But it boils down to this. My confidence right now is at an all-time high in this team. We have prime age players. We have made specific tweaks. That midfield pivot of Rice and Zubimendi is working wonders for us. I look at the fixtures, the rotation, how we're handling Europe and the Premier League better, I think, this season. But overall, it just feels like our year. I didn't have this feeling at any point last season. I haven't had it for a long time. But I don't think I'm alone. Look, long way to go. It's only November. Not counting my chickens yet. But you have to admit, the signs are good. Thanks so much for watching. If you like The Different Knock, you can support us on Patreon and get ad-free early access to each video for just £3 a month. Or for one-time support, you can buy us a coffee. Links are in the description.